Welcome back to HGC North America, where right now Superstars are 1 game up over B-Step, and they have chosen Towers of Doom as the next field of battle. Towers of Doom, we know Superstars, we know how much they love this battleground, as well as a lot of our teams. Gale Force Esports, Tempo Storm, a lot of teams loving to play this macro-heavy, focus on the Sappers, the Bell Towers battleground.
Yeah, I think the only difference between, I think, Tempo Storm and Gale Force Esports, and then looking at Superstars' preference towards this map, comes down to the Falstad split-soaking strategy and like enjoying the Falstad. Superstars is the only one that doesn't lean towards that elsewhere. That it's more of just they like Towers, the playstyle, the being able to bust out the Medivh here and there.
Exactly.
You know, there's just a couple of things. It does lean towards their strengths, but in a very different way, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So we'll see where they move into the draft, but Medivh is something we have to be looking for here on the side of Superstars, whereas B-Step did get the variant last game, but did not move into as much kill potential as I expected.
This is the battleground where B-Step busted out Chromie. They also played Tyrande Varian here with Zeratul and Falstad versus Freedom. So there's a couple of different options that B-Step could be moving into, but banning the Medivh is a nice start for them. They don't have to worry necessarily about Tassadar. That has fallen to the second pick team to have to deal with that ban. So it gives B-Step a little more leeway to just get rid of something that they absolutely don't want to deal with for Superstars. And for B-Step, if they are wanting to move into one of those blow-up comps again, Medivh is a great start.
Yeah, it very much is a great start. Here, it's going to be, I am expecting it to be the ban, to be honest. It just, after losing that last game, feels bad, man. Michael Udall tweeting, feels bad, man. He didn't VP core.
Mike understands that.
For anybody who doesn't know why that's the, a solid meme is, in fact, Mike Udall versus PBA ended up missing a void on core as well. His was a little bit more tense of a moment than maybe, the last one, but in the end, he probably can relate to it the most, what it feels like not to be able to avoid the core, or at least not hitting it. Ugh. Either way, you were right. It is the Medivh. It is the Tassadar.
Now B-Step, are they okay with giving Ragnaros? Yes, they are, because they want Zeratul again.
Because they want Zeratul. He is the standout hero here for them. Onto this map. Now what are we going to see out of Superstars? Vala has always been a prominent pick for them here, or just across the board, but again, that has dropped a little bit. So what are we going to see instead? I wouldn't mind if they go into the route of the Falstad. I think that would be, I think that would be a safe choice for them. They can even, pick up the Malfurion here now that he's been able to make it through the bans. I think that would be, a really safe and solid rotation for them.
Maybe Dahaka. If they don't want...
Always down with the Dahaka.
Yeah, if they are not feeling like playing Falstad, at least if they get Dahaka here, they still have a global for global. It is Goku who plays a great Dahaka. It's filling in a lot of the gaps without having to play somebody that potentially they just don't want to play. But again, Hosty has played lots of Falstad too. So it just depends what they want. Varian Malfurion, so the steal for taking away Varian from B-Step.
Which then is going to, pose the question, where does B-Step move then? That was the biggest success that they had was with that style of play. They do have the Zeratul still. They have the opportunity to move into the Jaina still, to be able to have that synergy like we saw in the last game. I would feel all right if they go into like a Falstad Diablo, to be honest. I think the next rotation, I would like to see a lot of emphasis on being a duo with Zeratul more than anything. It needs to be able to have that synergy somewhere, and then making sure they have that global on this map, I think is huge. I think Falstad's a must for B-Step in this transition. I just would like a synergy to be able to be the second pick in this.
Dread, we have not seen a Diablo yet. This is the first Diablo this weekend since the changes. Do you think that his changes are affecting this, or just that it depends on the teams who are playing more?
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think it's only the changes and adjustments that have come out to Diablo. I think it's a hybrid between Diablo kind of fell even when he was unchanged. He went from the top to suddenly, when are we going to Diablo very, very rarely, only with Zeratul's here. So I think it's a little bit of a mixture of both. That being said, I like the pickup. They go with the Falstad Diablo here. So the synergy, but then also having the global, nice movement here for B-Step in this draft.
Superstars banning Jaina away from the very scary combo that already exists for B-Step. At least B-Step won't have Malfurion Roots and Twilight Dream to follow up as well, since Superstars did take Malfurion, but they will be on the back half for damage, the less favorable damage, especially in already losing Falstad, having to ban Jaina. B-Step.
You ban either Ragnaros or Dahaka. The question is, which one are you more afraid of?
Looks like Dahaka because they want to deny globals.
I think that's a safer route because it's better to have a global advantage and your opponent have a Ragnaros delay than it is to have your opponents match your global and you suddenly lose that advantage. So it only takes one pick there onto the Ragnaros that's about to come out for that to be, something to be feared. They have the synergy with the Zeratul, the Void APOC combo. They've got Gus. Superstars here, it's going to be Ragnaros, and what else, really? Li Ming is up. It is a more appealing option in this map and in this draft, having the raw hard CC that they do have. But it's also a scary into the Zeratul. That's a bit of a skill matchup, so maybe one that they want to pull from. Not necessarily a Superstars pick either, for the most part. I'm guessing it's going to just be like a Vala Rag.
It's not, but it is one hero that I know Nightmare is really comfortable on and confident on.
That would be awesome. I really like the idea of transitioning towards that now. That the composition on the side of B-Step is very Wombo-oriented. Every Zeratul we have seen so far. So, that's totally fine to be a Wombo-oriented composition. The only thing is if your basic kits are so powerful that you can get kills outside of that time, which, by the way, Varian, Malfurion, and Li Ming are absurdly good at. Suddenly you aren't cycling out cooldowns with your opponents, and Wombos usually win when that's the trait. So they do go with the Zarya and the Tychus, though, so just a long, sustaining, Tychus-enabled oriented composition for Superstars.
Last two picks for B-Step, we're looking at a support. Rhaegar is still up and is the second most picked support for B-Step. However, they have been playing more and more Karzim, so I think that's another particular option, especially with the isolation that they're going for.
Yeah, I think they'll go with the Karzim here as a follow-up to Zeratul Diablo combo. Just being able to get that bonus damage and isolation. It's very easy to be able to get the setup. The only thing is that it hurts in the sense that if Zeratul needs to force the Void opening, they go with the Tyrande on top of it even. Oh, baby B-Step. This, all right.
Wait, like baby Rag?
There's a baby B-Step? What does that even look like?
I need to see some chibis of all of the baby B-Step players now.
No, but it's so... The Karzim, I was going to compliment about the Karzim and how that forces more pressure onto the Zeratul to open, which is typically a problem whenever we see Zeratul combo drafts. The Karzim with having Palm now makes it to where Zeratul has more pressure to open because Karzim can't open without Void being dropped because otherwise he's most likely going to get hit in that into the Void, and that's never a pretty situation when you see that. So it only puts more pressure now onto iDream, but then the Tyrande lockdown with the Diablo, Zeratul kill potential. If the next pick on the side of Superstars here, I would just focus on map wave clear. There's so little on the side of B-Step and so little control, so focused around team fighting. What that is off the top of my head, I don't have that answer. But they can really capitalize, again, on the macro game here.
Oh
against their,
my. That's not a wave clear hero.
That is not.
Wow.
Oh, okay, the Valera. What?
So Valera Varian, the Valerian combo that I've heard a lot about.
Say that again?
Valerian.
I don't know if we're allowed to keep dropping that. Valerian? All right, we'll go with it for now.
Valera and Varian. Lots of lockdown.
An insane amount of kill potential.
Too. Yeah, so it's kills versus kills. They're just responding with the same thing that B-Step's picking. Yeah, rather than focusing on out macroing, then, matching them. Their early game is going to be a little bit better. Again, the kill potential is more frequent. When I was talking about the Li Ming, Valera will kind of fill that role, obviously from a melee. So, again, cycling their short cooldowns to be able to get that kill potential into a Wombo-oriented composition. She doesn't have very much wave clear, so she needs... It's funny because they put themselves in a position to where they both have to be successful, and one's a little bit easier but longer cooldowns. The other's a little bit harder to be successful with, but if it fails, it really is going to snowball in one direction or the other, I think. What does the Zarya bring to B-Step? Can her shields make it through that kind of lockdown damage from Tyrande, Hunter's Mark, all of that Diablo? No, even when it's fully empowered, whether it be for an ally or for a friendly, it doesn't really do that much unless you take the cleansing at 16, then puts it into the position, obviously, where you can just use that as a soft cleanse directly after. But it's
again, it's one of those kind of like band-aids, but it's a bigger problem than what it can really do. Tassadar is like one of the few, maybe Rework's a little bit different, but Tassadar is one of the few that can kind of deal with that. But even then, it's not like this is the solution. The only one really is kind of Medivh.
Speaking of cleanse, though, B-Step don't have one until they want to get Cleansing Touch at 16, so maybe that's something Superstars can take advantage of. But either way, we're headed into game number 2 on Towers of Doom between Superstars and B-Step.
Yeah, I think the point that you bring up about the lack of cleanse is huge. So this combo is actually kind of disgusting. If nobody at home has actually gotten to experience the wrath that is Varian Warbringer into Taunt into opening from Valeera, you're about to get a pretty solid dose of it here into this game. It just has so much single target lockdown and kill potential that I'm really fearful on the side of B-Step. The fact that they moved into the Karzim, I would actually like them to move into Palm now. I really want them to avoid. I like the idea of, you know, the Wombo, but again, those cooldowns on Varian are going to be so short, and same with Valeera, that you can't risk the 7-sided.
Plus, if you land the Wombo from B-Step, what is 7-sided going to add to it after the fact that if you land Void Prison, you have APOC underneath, you've gusted away anybody else from that, you have Lunar Flare to even follow up from that too. I think you're going to get the kill enough without needing a 7-sided strike to add to it.
That legitimately is my argument against 7-sided most games. Like 90% of the time we see it. It's not that it's not cool. It does a lot of damage and it's really nifty, but when you look at actually what it contributes to team fights, a majority of the time it's like, I didn't really change anything. I would have maybe been as successful sitting there punching something. And then but you have a heroic, right? And so, I mean, there are few and rare exceptions to that. K1 Pro actually going to be able to stall out this lane, trying to get it, you know, sitting right outside the turret minion range. So why they're doing that is now the kill potential for Superstars. They have to dive to be able to make that happen, making it far riskier into the double support. In case you guys are wondering why they're holding those minions.
So it's Hosty again playing Zarya, so Nightmare filling in the ranged assassin role this time. Going to be playing Tychus. Means we get a Goku Valeera, who has not gone the way of crippling poison. This time it is going to be Vigor.
I am very excited. I hope to see him move into a more Q-heavy build at 4 and 7. This I wouldn't mind to be the game where we see Cloak of Shadows instead of actually going with the Cloud, just because, again, so Apocalypse is going to be used. It's going to zone you out. Void can be another thing that just buys the time around it. A Gust can push you out of it. There's a 7-sided strike can be dropped on top of it. There's just too much. Whereas, you know, if Toronto tries to get you a follow-up combo and you get a good, solid self-free cleanse, you can be a really big playmaker here for Goku. But the fact that he's been stuck in that lane is a tough moment. They do get damage there out on the iDream, but again, because he has gone with Vigor at 1, he wants as many globes as possible, and usually that means not the solo, being a part of the 4-man.
Right. It will also, if he gets Cloak of Shadows, help him avoid some of those things too. Like, he can use it to get out of things like Apocalypse. We'll see what he wants to get, as well as keep you posted on the rest of the Valeera build as it goes, as well as the Vigor stacks. Once she gets 20 regen globe, then she'll have maximum energy increased.
We're already, you know, mixing things up a little bit there, going into Wound Poison, allowing him to be able to activate it to you know, reduce the healing after his next spell by 50% onto a target.
I think it's done because B-Step only have Tyrande and Karzim to try to keep people healthy, and it's Iron Fist Karzim at that.
I kind of see the idea where it's like they have 2 supports, so cripple the healing, but I don't, like, legitimately one Tyrande, unless you moved into it, like, you know, post 13 possibly. Everything about Tyrande's healing is not big enough for me to be afraid of. I'm more afraid of the Palm, which that is not going to stop the Palm. You know, Palm is going to hit no matter what. So, I don't know. It's an interesting choice. We'll see if it pays off here for Goku. It's one of those ones where Valeera is new enough where I can't tell you every direct instance of where I expect her to be able to fall in these scenarios, but overall, I do see that maybe not getting as much value as at first glance.
What if he procs the Palm with that?
I don't believe it reduces it.
Huh.
I might be wrong, because technically when Palm hits, it puts you in stasis. When you put in stasis, you're only buying time from what exists around you, like Void. And when that happens, all debuffs remain. It's just pausing of time.
And it's 4 seconds.
So if that lasts, then technically it should, if the stasis argument is correct, you know? Sometimes you never know. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Dang, I'm dying to see how that works out.
We'll see.
If that does. could be seven-sided strike, and then our hopes and dreams will just be slashed.
And then we'll just, yep, no, we'll have no idea.
All right, what's been happening in this game so far? We went way down the rabbit hole.
You know, sometimes you got to see the other side, though, before you can really, truly understand what's happening on this one. That was the most mediocre philosophical argument I have ever made in my entire life. I regret everything.
Dread wisdom.
Either way, we've got the shrines up. 7 talents here in favor of B-Step, but Superstar should be able to, pick that up here. We do see Pierce, but a more auto attack focused build on the side of Toronto there. K1 Pro on one of his favorite heroes. A pickoff is going to happen there onto the variant in mid, which in fact is perfect timing for B-Step to be able to further their lead here and these shots.
Superstars are trying as fast as possible to move into the bottom altar, but they can't do it. They don't want to risk it. They have lots of good poke. Iacona has Elun's Grace. They have grenades from Hosty too, 1 grenade from Nightmare, so they can give up the mid altar and then wait for Varian, man, that's gonna wreck me now. Varian to get back into the fight. There goes the Lunar Flare, does not quite connect with the overpower target though, and now Nightmare is back in trying to do damage. He is fairly low in health, but Iacona's trying to keep him healed back up until Varian can get into the battle. Now with all 5 members of Superstars here putting damage on B-Step, B-Step have tapped. They want to move back in if they can.
Yeah, we also do see at 7 there, we've seen the stacking W for Goku. Getting that Blade Fury there. Goku is actually under a lot of pressure now from APM. There's going to be a kill onto him. The trade where Hosty trying to, split and get that damage out into his opponents, but he's not putting out enough. I Dream for the flank. Sray's going to get pinned against the wall there. There was a cleanse used as well. Good route, but Sray ends up being overpowered and ends up dying here in this game. So Valeera moving into the Fatal Finesse, and that is going to be able to win stack completely. Only increases her out of stealthing kill potential onto the opponents. It really helps with the energy reduction almost more than anything. The damage is nice, but any removal of energy cost for her really suddenly makes her a deadly hero.
Especially Blade Flurry, because it is an expensive ability, and it halves its energy cost once you can get the 20 stacks, damaging 20 heroes with that ability. Still waiting on heroic abilities. We're about to see if it's going to be Palm or seven-sided strike for B-Step, though, who are looking at getting their sappers. Superstars are going to go in for an invade before those sappers have been collected. And just before heroic abilities, Superstars steal those away. So aggressive exactly when they need to be. However,
APOC, boys.
Here comes APOC. APM's going to jump in too. He does have seven-sided strike, so that's going to drop down. iDream's the one who's in trouble. Superstars maintain safety for now. King Caffeine dives in to at least get 1 kill on Hosty. And Sray, not long for this world after McIntyre comes in with an aggressive gust. That'll be a 2nd kill. Goku goes down, 3 kills, and B-Step are running away from this game.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Zeratul, really, right there is all you saw. It's just, you don't even have to have a good initiation. You're just like, well, we're 10 and you're not, so I'm gonna buy 5 seconds for my team to just figure out, where you are, and we're gonna be able to punish them. Just a bit of a misposition. It's a very common error to be able to, be like, oh, my opponents are 10, and Zeratul suddenly just blinks voids, and I mean, you guys saw it. It just happens. You honestly, if you're the guy in the void, you just take your hands off the mouse and keyboard. You'll be like, all right, guys, we'll get this on the next life, because it is not going to be going any other way here in the current one. Double spawn here when it comes to the shots and shrines. Again, B-Step here having the 10 advantage. Superstar legitimately just have almost no other option other than just sitting around and soaking, trying to catch up into this game.
Yeah, Superstars are going to delay as long as they can, if for nothing else, than to just allow themselves to get 10, but they need to not lose more people. Seven-sided strike has been used, as has the gust, and because of that, Sray goes down yet again, and finally the ulti will be picked up. It's fine to delay, but if you keep losing people and giving more experience, and even once you get heroic abilities, you may find yourself not able to fight at the same talent tier. So Superstars really just need to get 10 as quickly as they can. Yeah,
and there's going to be the barrel roll. Hosty looks like he's going to be the next victim. A root might be enough to be able to peel off of him there. Iacona being the team player that he is. 10 still out of reach. Well, I can't see. I don't think he's going to be going smoke bomb. I don't think. We've already talked about it a little bit, but I would be very, very surprised. Not just kind of like, caught off guard. It would be a very surprising fact, again, with how many zoning tools exist on the side of B-Step. It seems like Cloak is going to be making the most sense here, but we'll find out. Everything else is what you would expect for heroics, and it's going to be the smoke bomb.
All right, so instead of having the Unstoppable and Spell Armor for a second, removing damage over time affects Goku now in a 60-second cooldown, has Smoke Bomb. to make himself a little area where he's unrevealable and can continue to act in that. Does get 25 armor within that too. Both of Valera's heroic abilities do give some defensive tools to that hero. Superstars have a small amount of time where they can fight with B-Step before B-Step have the 13 talent tier advantage. Srey has to get cleansed out of the overpower Lunar Flare combination, and Superstars once again are going to run away, at least for now.
Goku there with Srey. There's going to be the taunt onto APM. He does only have 7-sided strike. The silence, he ends up going down, but it costs Srey his life as well. 1 for 1 so far into this fight. Void and APOC still yet to be used. Goku being chased down here. He doesn't have the smoke bomb. He's going to be able to stealth though. The combo. Caffeine there though with the pin will be able to confirm this kill. That's a 3-man Void. No APOC though, so, you know, a bit of mercy here on the side of B-Step. Twilight Dream's gonna be dropped. Iacona trying to retreat. King Caffeine actually might lose his life. There's so much damage. Hosty with the grenade. There's one. There's gonna be two. McIntyre trying to be able to fly out. He will get it. And K1 Pro now trying to run away on his own.
Those are some pretty big damage dealing grenades from Hosty. He's still got his energy up quite far, but because an altar is about to spawn and Diablo had his souls used, he will be right back into the fight. So no Iacona for a few seconds, no Zeratul on the other side. An altar is spawning in one. Superstars trying to once again fight over it. Note they do not have their 13 talents, and they are there for B-Step.
But this is actually huge. Superstars doesn't have a wombo combo-oriented draft like B-Step, so this is actually the fight that they want.
True.
In these, like, when the heroics are used, if you come back on even footing, this is the really moment to be able to turn the fight, and this is it. Goku's going to go in there with the bomb, instantly be able to get the kill there onto Diablo, even with the raw 3-man Lunar Flare. It wasn't enough. Starball is going to be dropped. 7-sided strike. Srey is going to eat all 7 sides, and in fact loses his life in the process. There's going to be the barrel roll. Hosty pops the shield, saying hit me, and then realizing didn't have the HP to be able to keep up. And now, so though I did compliment, this might be the fight Superstar wanted. In fact, they are going to lose more members here. Not even done yet.
Iacona, Dream jumps in. Goku Nightmare chase, but McIntyre had Gust to stop that and allow all of B-Step to once again retreat to safety. Now, 36-12. Superstars are almost to 13, but it's 15 kills to 4. Superstars have to start winning some team fights somewhere.
Yeah, they've got to be able to figure something out, all right? And it all started by falling just so far behind into the early parts of the game, and that snowball with, you know, having, with the Void Prison combo that we saw earlier, and things have just been not looking good for them. They will be able to get onto the same talents here for the first time in a long while here. The question is, can they force with the Varian taunt combo and the Valera gank squad? We haven't seen much damage output from Goku, at least so far, confirming those kills for the team. He's sitting at 10,000 DPS, which is, you know, significantly lower than some of the other members there, as we see Tychus going towards that 26,000. It's just not enough damage follow-up there in the early game, and it's really showing as we make it to the later half.
The way these fights are going to, you can tell how much of a difference it is playing with somebody like Zarya versus the Medivh, who can give full protect. Varian is going in. He does not have protection. He's still picked Warbringer at level 4, and he's getting blown up despite the shielding that has been provided for him, and even the heals out of Malfurion. The lockdown, Hunter's Mark II, now Giant Killer for Falstad. Even it's so hard for Srey to be able to dive in and get the setup to start the fight for the team because he's just getting blown up in the process. Now that is a great way to start. Falstad gets taken down and Void Prison is used on a lot of the members of Superstars. King Caffeine's in the back.
He just stopped Apocalypse. That was a 4-man Void, which would have turned the entire fight, but Srey turned down, taunted onto Diablo, making sure that the Void wasn't going to be Apocalypse on top of. Huge plays coming up from Superstars now into this game, but there's still a long stretch before they can call it their own. In fact, the Shrine's now going to be up here in 5 seconds. 16 talents here, not available yet for B-Step. Looks like Bottom's going to be going over to Superstars for free. The question is, will Goku risk the delay? And he will.
Doesn't smoke bomb. He still has Zarya shield. Zarya's here too. Both of the altars have been channeled that Superstars were going after. So people from Superstars starting to funnel in, as is McIntyre. He's flown in. There is an expulsion zone and simultaneously a gust to deny. So 1-for-1 on those heroic abilities, but there's no Twilight Dream and there's no smoke bomb. There's still no VP2 and Odin will be used. Apocalypse if King Caffeine absolutely needs to, but he's gonna get taunted and charged again from Srey. Takes a lot of damage. before Superstars back down.
Yeah, Goku actually gets delayed there as well. He returns the stun though onto iDream. He has to blink out. Now it's going to be Apocalypse dropped. Icona there with the ice block to be able to get the peel. Saray gets knocked out of 7-sided strike. K1 Pro is on full retreat. There's going to be the taunt combo. Goku's there to follow up. And like a rogue does, assassination onto K1 Pro. 16 still not picked up for them. All three of these shrines have gone over now to Superstars, being able to turn around the game and not even on the same talent here yet. All right, so nobody scouted this. Risky move at first, but nobody scouted it, and just purely on the fact that they don't know where Falstad was. Saray is getting the scout though, making sure that nobody's there, but I thought for a moment, you know, between Gust and Void, you know, Bosca's a risky word to throw around whenever looking into both of those heroic, especially when down the same talent here. But Superstars, in fact, is going to pick it up and turn the core health back to 20 for B-Step and 12 for Superstars. They doing a lot of things right to be able to come back in this game. And it's what we saw from them yesterday.
Yes.
We've never seen them be able to make the decision to be able to come back. And again, they're doing the right things, you know, realizing this is the best fight we're going to get. Go, 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 and make the plays.
But B-Step now are not out of this yet. Cleanse has to be used once again to get Saray out of that Wombo combo, even without heroic abilities that exist, but purely between Tronda and Diablo. B-Step wanting to push down the bell tower in bottom, knowing that that is low. Neither of these teams really have been able to execute the bell tower game that we see a lot of teams going for. Really, again, because they are more of this fight and pick-oriented compositions. But 16 is now here for Superstars too. Here comes the jump. 7-sided strike and Expulsion Zone have been used to taunt on Diablo, and he gets taken out, so there's no Apocalypse to follow up after this Void Prison too. iDream just barely gets out with his life. Starfall taking down so many members of Superstars. It's a 3-for-1 in Superstars' favor. Not
being able to have the Apocalypse so detrimental to the composition here. APM trying to be able to dash out. He, in fact, will be able to do so. Shots on bottom here are pretty much going to be a free transition, but that bottom bell tower, falling, you know, on the side of Superstars in favor of B-Step puts them in a position to where they have to question, do they want to risk, you know, losing out on a shot at this point? And it seems like that is going to be the decision they end up going with. Not willing to, you know, risk anything here in this game.
Double channel to make sure that you can only send an owl at one.
Yeah, and they're going to back out right onto the bell tower, look to be able to convert the map into their color here, into the red color here, and be able to make this game finally within reach. This is it, Superstars. A complete, like just a 180 in terms of performance here when it comes to being behind. Our keys to the game for Superstars, almost every series has been
win the early game.
Keep doing what you're doing early game and getting ahead, because when you're ahead, you look like a great team. But whenever you fall behind, you know, figure out how to make that decision. And twice, not only have they made it, but it looks like both times have they been successful to be able to get a game back in within reach. Combo comes out. Mac with the root.
Goku jumping in. Ghost.
1Q.
Mac
he got
has used the Gust. Goku now gets out too.
Very, very big play.
Yeah,
from
just
Goku.
in time, Goku takes down Falstad. And if Superstars can keep these stagger deaths going, all the better. But if not, it's still several seconds now where Superstars know they have a man advantage and can focus on some of the objectives. In the bottom, they're running into sappers. They also can get their own sappers if they want to there, just to try to get the pressure off of this bottom lane, since it is starting to become more of a problem now that B-Step took out that bell tower. Not doing too much with this advantage just yet, though.
We do keep in mind when it comes to the, you know, the Valera build that we've been able to see so far. I almost fell victim to the Varian Valera combo as well.
No,
Vigor has
right?
been completed, and Fatal Finesse as well. Now that increases the regeneration or the energy just use overall, reducing the fact of the W and then increasing the overall with Vigor at 1. But then moving into the Thistle Tea there at 16, being able to activate that, restore 100 energy, which pre-Vigor is her entire amount. So a lot of sustained, consistent DPS available now for Goku on the Valera.
I don't think we talked about elusiveness either, but at level 13, getting a little bit of movement speed, increasing the movement speed when you're in Vanished by another 10%. So 20% overall increased movement speed when in Vanished, helping out with the mobility. King Caffeine is the one who was caught. Expulsion Zone pushes King Caffeine away just a little bit, and Starfall's been used in the back. Apocalypse will be the follow-up too, but Void Prison goes down, which protects Hosty from it. A little bit of a miscommunication with that, and Zeratul gets taken out. The first kill. Again, Superstars find a kill despite all these heroic abilities for B-Step. and just in time for another altar.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch there with the Valera into Iakona's Twilight Dream. Silences on silences here, and 4 more shots now going over. B-Step's core health now sitting at 13-12 for Superstars. A man down still for B-Step. Experience almost completely even. It looks like Superstars is going to attempt to siege here with the Sappers. That's going to be a bell tower for free here.
Expulsion Zone will be up in a few seconds too, depending on how Superstars want to play this out. Maybe looking to zone somebody away, and Taunt, as always, almost always, pretty much always, is available too. But Superstars are looking toward the 20 game. They have been down and out this game so far, but they're caught up in core health. They're caught up and even ahead in experience. They've gotten the bell tower in the bottom lane. Now they can look to get 20 and keep the pressure going.
Yeah, we'll see if they punish here. We see that, attempt to transition here. Varian's looking for the flank. It's going to be scouted by the Owl. The slow coming out from McIntyre on the Q is going to be enough to get out of reach of, the claws of Saray there for a moment. Still 5 bell towers in favor of Superstars. They're going to have that control with that 20 advantage. They're just, not letting B-Step even side soak right now. Outside of the Falstad is a decent position to be in, but they aren't, making anything out of this 20 advantage that they have. Something I would have liked to see out of Superstars.
There are a few seconds left until all their heroic abilities are back. Goku wants to go for a kill just before B-Step can get their level 20. But King Caffeine is safe, and 20 is so close for B-Step. Falstad's been continuing that soak in the top mid. Bell tower might be a point that Superstars could try to siege at. It is getting pretty low, or even look at that Falstad. Just Valera going missing is enough to pull Falstad back.
Yeah, it's a terrifying, especially when we've already seen Goku pretty much 100-0 Falstad. It makes it a lot scarier there to be on his own.
And now with cold blood.
Yeah, it makes he can 1v1 one shot almost every hero except for Diablo on the opposite side now with that level 20 picked up for Valera. Cold blood is ridiculous there, the damage output there. So we'll see if they make waves with that. Taunt is going to be used. Goku ends up popping, his own smoke bomb there. But K1 Pro ended up already falling so early into this fight. There's going to be the stun combo cleanse. It's going to be forced now for B-Step. But I guess it's on a dash, so it's not really the same thing. What do we call that? It's just the dash cleanse.
Cleansing touch is the name of the talent.
You want me in the middle of the team fight to call it a cleansing touch? Unforgivable.
Yes. No, we can call it the dash cleanse.
The dash cleanse?
Dash cleanse.
The dash cleanse. One of the multiple cleanses that come from the dash of Karazim was in fact used here in this team fight. Another man advantage and a lead for Superstars, but again, leading a little bit more with the passive game here, not trying to out-macro the map, even so much so that B-Step was able to convert that top bell tower into their favor. Sappers are going to pressure it on bottom. They've got one stacked, a minute and a half for the next to be able to come up. So they're going to try and, escort these in. I don't know if they're going to get away with it, though. Void is up, so this could be a huge combo.
Falstad will be up in 5 seconds, or Gus will be up in 5 seconds. Oh, there's the jump in, too. iDream is found out. Still, during that amount of time, there is Expulsion Zone. They're trying to do everything they can. That looks like it's going to be one. They're keeping the regrowths even on the Sapper, but still, B-Step refused to allow any of the first 3 to move in. Now there's a second 3. Still with Gust if they need it, but it's so far B-Step haven't needed to even Gust to stop these Sappers. And all 6 are defended victoriously by B-Step.
Yeah, Apocalypse there being used means that it's probably not going to be up for the next team fight, which could be the game-deciding one here. We'll see if they force it. There's going to be a Blink and Twilight Dream there for Iacona. The taunt lands onto APM, but he's not going to end up losing his life yet. Goku not with the DPS. Starfall is used. Nobody's hit by the Lunar Flare. So many cooldowns used on the side of B-Step here that, and Superstars really. It's been a pretty heavy trade, but nobody ends up falling.
But Taunt and Expulsion Zone are up very often for Superstars, and that is a big deal for them that they're able to have that. 7-sided strike still here. If APM finds the right spot, it's even 11-sided strike with Transgression, and most importantly, there is still Void if Superstars clump, but they have not given that option so far to iDream.
Moving into the 7-sided strike at 20 only makes it to where 7-sided strike not only can continue more, as I say that though, the stun comes out onto iDream, the dash as well. The follow-up there instantly is going to be the deletion. Expulsion Zone is going to be dropped as well, and one more lies victim to Goku's blade. McIntyre now onto the retreat, no barrel roll. And that is going to be Caffeine stuck in a corner here.
Caff will sacrifice his life to save McIntyre, but there's 2 altars up. Falstad's flying to the mid one. He may just steal it away in time. Nobody's moving into position just yet. Stray's diving in, throws out Lion's Maw. Now McIntyre is in a rough spot.
He is in a rough spot, but he realizes if he gives up these shots, it could be game if one of the bell towers do convert. King Caffeine into the mid lane. Looks to be able to get into this engagement. No, but once again, you know, he's stuck just in a corner, not able to get the retreat. He ends up going down. That's 60 seconds here for Superstars to be able to pull ahead, and it looks like they are set their eyes towards this mid bell tower. They're going to be looking to capture both these shrines, and if they do so, in fact, getting game number 2 here over B-Step.
Zeratul could come through the tunnel. Goku's going to start channeling up in top. Falstad maybe going to fly back in where he can. That may just be it. Nobody even moving out. They understand that's the end of the game, and Superstars, I don't even know at one point how far down they were in core health, but they were down a lot in that game. Once again, able to bring it back.
2.5 levels, I think is what it came down to when at the worst case, they were sitting at like 8 and it was like 11 was just achieved.
That's right,
and
because they invaded right as they hit 10.
Yeah, and they were still able to turn around that game. It's just ridiculous to be able to see that. Actually, we in fact do have a replay of the last team fight here. Let's take a quick look at it. Gilly, give us the breakdown.
All right, well, this is the big deal. It's just that iDream gets blown up. They had Goku start that, and then Roots on the other side straight went in too, and then Expulsion Zone zoned people away, so they had to go all the way up and around the tower, and Calf jumps in to save McIntyre, knowing that McIntyre with actually not having Epic Mount, he did instead go for Nexus Frenzy, but just having the flight as well as Gust maybe could help save the day, and the fact that Diablo had souls, but later on it's when he dies again that really spells the end of the game for B-Step.
Sacrificing the Diablo there for the res is definitely the better choice there. But in fact, they were so crippled after that point, losing that many resources. They didn't have what it takes to be able to stop that. But more than anything, this is the second time we've seen Superstars do this. This isn't even just like falling in Talontier behind at this point. It's not like a 12.5 and taking a bad fight. That was a 2.5 level lead with Valeera, a unique composition, a different composition than what we've probably almost ever seen, at least so far. And they're able to turn around the games against the veterans of B-Step. It is so exciting and so awesome to see that adjustment and improvement from Superstars so far.
With a sub.
With a sub.
Add that to the mindset. These guys are rocking.
They are.
They are. Guys, we're going to go to a break. When we return, we'll see if Superstars can close this series out or if B-Step will bring it back.
Terra Marines are the toughest frag magnets in the galaxy. But when they're in trouble, guess who they call? Medic! Winning a battle is more than just shooting enemy soldiers. It's about saving your own. I protect every member of my squad with my life. Sometimes I think I'm the only thing holding them together. Who am I? I'm Lieutenant Morales. I'm your medic. I'm gonna need a lot of bandages.
I was once a far strider. I swore an oath to defend Silvermoon and its people to my dying breath. It was not enough. My homeland still burned. But those days are long past. And history will not repeat itself. I am Sylvanas Windrunner, Queen of the Forsaken. And if you will not serve me in this life, then you will do so in the next.